Peru News Today. All you need to know about Peru.
Dina Boluarte, president of Peru, in the case of the Rolex. Chronology of the Rolex case that could determine the departure of Dina Boluarte from the presidency of Peru. The president has not spoken or appeared at official events since Tuesday, March 26, and this morning the prosecutor's office raided her home in a new development of the Rolex case. President Dina Boluarte is closer to vacancy. But it was not because of the 50 deaths from the protests against her takeover of the government, but because of the notorious Rolex case, which now has a new development after the prosecutor's office raided her home looking for these luxury items. But how did this case begin, and what are the implications behind these luxury watches of the president? Check here the chronology of the case until the latest events until this Saturday, March 30th. To journalistic investigation that started it all. The controversy broke out on March 14, after a report by La Encerona, carried out by Ernesto Cabral, where thousands of photographs of Boluarte serving as minister and, since December 7, 2022, as head of state, were analyzed, revealing the possession of a wide collection of watches, some of them luxury and not declared before the National Elections Jury, JNE. It is mentioned that several of the Rolexes she wears were identified as recently manufactured, based on specific characteristics. Likewise, for his part, journalist Alonso Ramos revealed that the regional governor of Ayacucho, Wilfredo Oscorima, visited the presidential office on Thursday, March 14, the date on which the president's Rolex scandal was revealed. Oscorima faced accusations in the past for giving high-end watches to two judges of the Huamanga Superior Court of Justice, allegedly in exchange for benefits. In 2014, Congress opened an investigation related to possible connections to drug trafficking. The following year, he was sentenced for acts of corruption. After being on the run for 9 months, he was captured and imprisoned. In May 2017, Oscorima was released. Prosecutor's office begins proceedings. On Monday, March 18, preliminary investigations were initiated by the public ministry towards Boluarte, under suspicion of not having reported the possession of luxury Rolex watches and for alleged undue enrichment. The prosecutor's office is in charge of this investigation, through its illicit enrichment and constitutional complaints division. One of the notes of this entity is that the president did not register these assets in her property declaration before the JNE. Boluarte's response, last Friday, March 22, after a week of questions that even reached international media, she showed her willingness to appear before the prosecutor's office to clarify the accusations against her, denying having irregularities in her assets. Now notified by the public ministry, I have directed my lawyers to the case. I will confront this process with the truth, both in front of the authorities and in front of the entire country, the president assured the press. Previously, she had explained that the assets in question, including a Rolex valued at approximately $14,000, are old and the result of her work. From the executive, she has made a clear defense of Boluarte. The president of the Council of Ministers, Gustavo Adrianson, declared on Sunday that the president does not present a financial imbalance, interpreting the situation as a political distraction that harms national stability. The moves from Congress. Since March 20, the Peru Libre Party, which led Boluarte as vice president along with Pedro Castillo and in which the current president has been active since its creation, began collecting signatures for the vacancy motion. For its part, Fuerza Popular, the party with the largest representation in the divided Congress, expressed its concern about the scandals surrounding the government through a statement, urging that the necessary clarifications be provided about the origin of the watches in question. The raid on his home. Since Tuesday, March 26, Boluarte has not spoken or appeared in the media. Thus, teams from the public ministry and DIVIAC arrived around 11 p.m. on Friday, March 29, to the Boluarte home to search the president's home for the Rolex case. Following this, the presidency of the Council of Ministers, PCM, held an emergency meeting in the early hours of Saturday, March 30 after learning the news. Subsequently, the Prime Minister, Gustavo Adrianson, spoke in the media. At all times the facilities have been provided, he has appeared, his lawyers has been accredited and in full exercise of his right to defense, he has requested a rescheduling. Why do they demonize that? What's wrong with it? What's illegal about it? Nothing, he declared. After this, Carlos Anderson, congressman from Podemos, Peru, pointed out on his Twitter account that if Ms. Boluarte does not come out to give explanations and deliver the watches and other jewelry required by the prosecutor's office, so it will be better for her to simply resign before Congress vacates her for permanent moral incapacity. For his part, Jorge Montoya, from Renovación Popular, described the raid as political theater. The objectionable invasion of the public ministry and divide into the president's residence, in the Rolex case, could have been avoided if she had opted for transparency. This exaggerated measure, mounted before a momentous vote such as the vote of confidence, shows the abuse of the power of the prosecutor's office and the opacity in its government. It is crucial to demand responsibility and ethics in the management of public affairs. However, his benchmate, Alejandro Muñoz, wrote on Twitter, "I call on the democratic forces of the country not to change the measuring stick. If we were implacable with Castillo and his multiple accusations of corruption, let us also be so now." Leave us your comment and subscribe to continue growing, and follow us on our social networks, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram and TikTok.
Peru News Today. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.